The Final Fantasy XVI Dominion trailer dropped at the Sony State of Play event, and with it came an immense amount of information to deal with here. A website is up with even more information alongside the trailer, talking about the characters and their relationships with each other, the realms they are from, and even which realm contains a specific dominant or icon. We'll be discussing all this information we have received so far, and use it to make theoretical conclusions for ourselves on who exactly these characters are, and who on earth are the dominants and icons that are being so well hidden from us on this website and in the trailer. So, from the information provided, we know that the world Final Fantasy XVI takes place in is the world of Valisthea. Valisthea takes a different look at the concept of the Mother Crystal that we are used to in some of the previous games. Within Valisthea, there are 5 Mother Crystals that are scattered throughout the world and are absolutely enormous mountain crystals bearing different shapes that are the sources of Aether. Aether is the main source of power in Final Fantasy XVI and is said to be the blessing of the Mother Crystals. This has led to generations of people building civilizations around these Mother Crystals, reaping the benefits of Aether to conjure different magics to live lives of comfort and riches. They have grown into great governmental powers and have lived in an uneasy peace between each other. The threat to the world of Valisthea, and the source of the likely war that we are to see within Final Fantasy XVI, is something known as the Blight, threatening to destroy the dominions of each realm in Valisthea. But before we discuss each separate realm within Valisthea, I'd like to go over the icons and dominants, as they are a significant power to the world of Valisthea as well as the realms that reside within it. The icons are essentially said to be the most powerful and deadly creatures in Valisthea. They are pretty much the same as summons from any other Final Fantasy game, but are seen as a threat or controlling power more than anything within Final Fantasy XVI. This brings us to the dominants. The dominants are the individuals that house the icons. They are blessed with the ability to use the power of the icons at the cost of their life to an extent, it seems, as it is said in the trailer that the power they wield wears away at their being, breaks and unmakes them. However, being a dominant is not something that you get if you want. You are born as a dominant to whatever icon resides within you. Unfortunately, however, dominants cannot run from this. It is said that depending on which realm dominants are born to, they are either treated as royalty in reverence of their strength of the icons, others are also treated as fearful weapons of war, and there is one specific realm set to judge the dominants as unholy abominations that are to be executed. Dominants seem to be a great power, but are also doomed to unwanted responsibility or condemnation just because they bear that name within the world of Final Fantasy XVI. We also have a good bit of information on the realms of Valisthea. These are civilizations or governing powers that exist within the world of Final Fantasy XVI. Each of the realms seem to have one Mother Crystal, 2 sharing the same Mother Crystal off the opposite islands that we will be getting into very soon. There are 6 known realms in the world of Valisthea, of which 4 of them occupy Storm, the western half of the Twin Realms, and 1 more occupying Ash, the eastern half of the Twin Realms, and there is 1 neutral realm that sits within the center of the Twin Realms. On the western side of Valisthea, Storm, we have the Grand Duchy of Rosaria, the Holy Empire of Sanbreque, the Dhalmekian Republic, and the Iron Kingdom. For Ash, we have the Soul Kingdom of Wallowed, and for the neutral kingdom, we have the Crystalline Dominion. So first, let's talk a little bit about the Grand Duchy of Rosaria. Rosaria was formed from long generations of small independent provinces in western Valisthea who find their strength in unity. They are said to have prospered for years, but is now at the mercy of the Blight that, if left unchecked, will see their realm to ruin. Rosaria is home to 3 of the main characters that we have already been introduced to, and they are all the Archduke's children. Clive Rosfield, the firstborn son, Joshua Rosfield, the second-born son and Clive's younger brother, as well as the dominant of Phoenix, and Jill Warwick. The name of Rosaria's Mother Crystal is Drake's Breath. It is situated on a volcanic island west of Rosaria. It is so far said that the dominant of Phoenix, Icon of Fire, is enthroned as the Archduke when they become of age, and their flag is very reminiscent of their icon. This is a trend that we will notice across all the realms, again except one being the Iron Kingdom. Although Jill is related to Clive and Joshua, it's not by blood. Jill was originally born in the northern territories of Valisthea, which I believe to be the Holy Empire of Sanbreque, by the way. She was taken in by the Archduke of Rosaria, securing peace between the 2 warring nations, and is very unassuming and openly trusting of her brothers Clive and Joshua. Clive and Joshua, being the 2 main sons of the Archduke, have an unexpected turn of events. Although the people of Rosaria thought Clive would be the inheritor of Phoenix's flames, he was not born a dominant. Instead, Joshua came to bear the flames of the icon of Phoenix. Joshua wasn't happy with the turn of events as he grew up and grieved the fact that he was the dominant of Phoenix. Joshua is, after all, a very compassionate person and cares deeply for his subjects, especially his brother, and he would consider himself to be bookish and frail in comparison to his older brother. He is so scared as to even flinch at the sight of a carrot on his dinner plate. But his brother Clive is different. Clive had the knowledge that it was his younger brother to bear the burden of being awoken as the dominant of Phoenix, thought for a different purpose in his life. He dedicated himself to mastering swordsmanship, and the results are bare for all to see when at the age of 15 he wins the ducal tournament and is dubbed the first Shield of Rosaria. By this title, he lives to protect his younger brother Joshua and is blessed with the ability to wield a part of Joshua's power. The two brothers go along their path, but it's made known to us that there is a tragedy that befalls them, as seen in the trailer, that changes their lives forever. Whatever tragedy took place here led to the awakening of the second icon of fire, Ifrit, that we can see to be Clive. My reasoning for this is the fact that, taking the two trailers into consideration, after the Phoenix icon awakens, we can see Clive standing by one of the soldiers. The very soldier that was knocked back by the explosion that made him conclude that he had seen the second icon of fire. The mystery here, however, is that even at the end of the dominant trailer, we can very clearly see that there are two Ifrits, one with blue and one with red eyes. Whatever happens after this awakening may have been the icons losing control, although there hasn't been any statement about the icons or about the characters being unable to control the icons. Whatever the conclusion to this tragedy may be, will be disclosed if either we get more information on what happens after the scripted fight, and yes, this fight is scripted, because despite you bodying Ifrit, you are taken out by a Hellflare, and this is most likely where the game would have established its main plot. The next thing to talk about here is the Iron Kingdom. The Iron Kingdom is located on a small group of islands off the coast of Storm, the western half of Valistea's twin realms. They are basically opposite the Duchy of Rosaria and Drake's Breath, the Mother Crystal. Although they share the same Mother Crystal as Rosaria, Drake's Breath, they have very opposing views. The Iron Kingdom is home to the Crystalline Orthodox, an extreme faith that worships the Mother Crystals and considers dominance to be an unholy abomination that should be executed. That said, all dominants that are born in the Iron Kingdom are killed. The Iron Kingdom controls Drake's Breath and is at the heart of one of their islands. That has been the source of disputes between them and their neighboring realm, Rosaria, for the longest time. The Iron Kingdom is known to speak their own language and are isolated from the mainland realms of Valistea. The Dhalmekian Republic is made up of 5 states, from which members of the ruling parliament are drawn. Their mother crystal is called Drake's Fang and is half hidden in the heart of the mountain range. The ruling parliament uses its control over it and its Aether to rule over a large part of the southern Valistea. Home to the Dhalmekian Republic is Hugo Kupka. Hugo is the dominant of Titan, the icon of Earth. He was nothing but a nameless foot soldier prior to the awakening as the dominant of Titan. This gave him an incredible rise in ranks all the way to the forefront of Dhalmekian politics. Hugo then uses his power to exert an incredible influence over both the Dhalmek's policy and armies, amassing a huge fortune in the process. That is why he is present in what looks like an important meeting between the realms, where he is seen calming what looks to be one of the political leaders of the Dhalmekian Republic. We do not know much about Hugo, but aside the fights that we see with him and future Clive, we are made known that he will have an interaction with Benedicta Harmon, the dominant of Garuda, that will teach him that despite all the power and money he has over the Dhalmeks and southern Valistea, there is more that the world has to offer. Now we move on to the Holy Empire of Sanbreque. Sanbreque is known to be the largest theocratic force in Valistea. A theocratic government is one that is led by priests or people said to be divinely guided, ruling in the name of a god. Their mother crystal goes by the name of Drake's Head. This is the same concept picture that was shown earlier to give a clear visual as to the scale of the mother crystals and how civilizations build around them to establish their realms. In Sanbreque, the mother crystal supplies an enormous amount of aether that the people happily take advantage of and live in comfort as well as security under the Holy Emperor that is worshipped as a living incarnation of the one true deity. We know that this is the man in question, being that amongst all the realms in Valistea, this is the only one bearing the word Empire in its name.
The Empire will live on.
and that Sanbreque is indeed the empire that the Emperor referred to. The dominance of Sanbreque has not been disclosed officially by Square Enix. However, he is said to serve as the Empire's champion, taking to the field in times of war to root its enemies. Despite us not knowing exactly who this is, we can say that it's most definitely the Emperor himself. Take this with a grain of salt, however. The fact that the Emperor is seen to be the incarnation of the one true deity may be speaking of the striking resemblance to Rama. He's also seen holding a staff while sitting in his chair from these scenes within the trailer. Aside this, there could also be another dominant within Sanbreque, but this is truly unknown. It could be either Shiva or Bahamut. Despite all the information we have right now, we still have reason to believe that the dominant of Rama is actually the child seen sitting beside the Emperor. He seems to be around the same age as Joshua, and as we've seen before, being young definitely does not prevent you from summoning your icon. The description on the website as well does not necessarily state that it is a man fighting on behalf of the Empire of Sanbreque. It is said that he simply serves as the Empire's champion. Wallowed claims the entirety of Ash, the eastern half of Valisthea, as its dominion. Although facing opposition in many forms by the orcs and other beastmen that make their home there, the current ruler of the realm and dominant of Odin has succeeded in quelling the rebellions. This is another dominance that hasn't been identified by Square Enix officially, but I make this prediction solely based on the flag of the Kingdom of Wallowed. Their mother crystal is by the name Drake's Spine, and the most recent king has built a mighty army that he plans to use to test the borders of the neighboring realms. A character that has been made known to us, however, that hails from the Kingdom of Wallowed is Benedicta Harmon, the dominant of Garuda. She is said to have grown up to be cold-hearted and ruthless, being very talented at swordplay and deception. She works as a spy in Wallowed and is on a mission to find the second icon of fire, Ifrit. At some point in time, it is known that she will come across Clive, and this makes her face her past to some degree. We can see that she is indeed a deceptive person, as we know that she had been able to persuade Hugo into a certain mindset that we do not have much details of yet. We can also see that she does the dirty with one of the members within this meeting. This may have been an action as a spy in order to get some information from him, where he's ashamed for whatever happened between the two of them, or whatever he had disclosed to her that he wasn't supposed to. It seemed that Wallowed has both might and tact, and they are willing to use both to the best of their abilities to possibly invade Storm, the western half of Valisthea. The last and final realm we have information on is the Crystalline Dominion. It is said that the Crystalline Dominion sits at the heart of Valisthea, built around the tallest of all Mother Crystals, Drake's Tail. This is the warring grounds that the War of the Twin Realms was fought, because it is said to have had a high strategic importance. The realms, however, had decided to agree to a truce, and the islands around Drake's Tail have become an autonomous dominion led by the Council of Representatives from surrounding nations. This is so that all realms enjoy equal claim to the blessing in light of the truce, and as such there is no specific dominance that is said to live within the Crystalline Dominion. This is most likely the place that the meetings we saw within the trailers took place, as it is seen that Hugo, Benedicta, and what looks to be other governing heads of other different realms were present in discussions. That has been it for pretty much all the information we have concerning Final Fantasy XVI so far, as well as some of my theories and deductions from the information we have so far. Be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay updated as far as news concerning Final Fantasy XVI is concerned, along with other gaming analysis videos. This has been Vagante, thanks for watching, and remember, take your time.